All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris, and I'm here with Stephanie. And you know what? Let me just change this view so that we're side by side. That's great for the viewers, so that they can see you over there that way. And I am so inspired that you're here with me today. Stephanie is she's in my program. She is an absolute star in the program. She's part of the private community that we have, and she has emerged as a leader in that community, always helping people out, always giving advice, asking the best questions, shows up in all the group coachings, always just everywhere. And she has a very intriguing business that we want to talk about today. Stephanie, thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to be here.
So, Stephanie, I want to ask you about your business, and I've got some interesting questions I want to ask you about it. But first, quick intro to take a minute or so. Tell everybody who's watching this. Tell them about you. Tell them about what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Stephanie, and I kind of have just decided to start my own business. And my goal with my business is to help other people. So I have a history of depression. I went through some really dark times shortly after my children were born, pulled myself out of those times to emerge as a leader within my company, and really wanted to make sure that other people understood that they can also emerge as a leader within their companies, start their own companies, start their own businesses. I think from a depression standpoint, we get in this process of feeling like we're just not good enough, or we never will be good enough. I really want people to understand that they are good enough and they can do whatever it is that they put their mind to. And I also want to help leaders to be able to coach people like me. So other people with depression. And that's really what my focus is with my business as far as leadership gains. I really want to help leaders to be able to connect with people that maybe they don't understand because they don't suffer with depression or anxiety themselves, and help them to be able to connect with their employees a little bit more.
So you really do have two target audiences that you're focusing on. You're focusing on the people who are either where you were and you found a way to solve that for yourself, and now you want to help others do it. But then you're also focusing on another group of people who might not have been where you were, but are managing and working with people who are where you were.
Absolutely. So I'm targeting the person and then the champions for that person. So when you think about where I am and how far I've come, a lot of that has to do with the leadership that I was involved in. So everything from the direct sales business that I was involved in, I had a wonderful mentor named Beth Martin. She was phenomenal. And she really just focused on trying to help me get out of my own way. And that's extremely difficult when you're dealing with someone who has depression. And then as I moved into my corporate world business, my leader there, Michael Jert, he was just phenomenal in getting me to step back and just help me to even keel. Those two leaders, coupled with 6-7 years of therapy, and then a time-honored and true practice of just implementing those things myself and helping other people that I led within my businesses to implement those things. I've really come up with a really good system that I think will help a lot of people.
How long did it take you to come up with that system once you had the breakthrough that you are turning the corner and you're going to solve this for yourself? How long did it take for you to realize, hey, wait a minute, I think I can help others do the same thing?
It was really about helping others do it while I was coming through it. So as I was implementing it for myself, I would share those practices with other people. And as I started seeing those changes, it didn't take me long to connect the dots that this is something that if other people do, we can really go far with this. We can change lives and we can really get there. I would say it probably took me about a year to connect the dots that this is what I was doing, because I naturally I'm a servant leader as it is. So I naturally take things that I'm implementing myself and share those with other people just out of servitude. When I started to realize that people were having success with what I was telling them. And then I started having people that I was working with on a day-to-day basis who would move on to other teams or move on to other companies and still contact me and be like, you're like my life coach. That's when I was like, okay, maybe I have something here.
Did you take it from there and develop a methodology, or was it more bespoke when you were working with people?
Yeah, so really the methodology came organically just within just different pieces that I was trying to teach my teams at work or my teams of people that I was dealing with outside of work. I developed one part of my methodology dealing with Boys and Girls Club uh, students who I was just trying to help them understand what leadership was, what it means to be a leader, because it's not just about being a leader in title or being a leader in pay grade. It's about being a leader as an individual, and being a leader to those around you. So that's just one element. And really what I ended up doing within how I worked with other people is just taking pieces of that and putting it together. And really, it wasn't until I met you that I decided that I really needed to put it down on paper and not just coach people to it, right? Like I really needed a methodology, a step by step, so people could understand. I ended up having a one on one with Sabrina Rodriguez a couple of weeks ago, too. And I was trying to explain to her what I did because I didn't have my step by step in front of me. And she's like, I need something more concrete. I need to know what you're doing. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting there.
I,
So
I think part of our program is, it is a very, it's not a strict methodology, but it is a very well-defined methodology. And that
yeah,
definitely helps people like you create your own methodology because you can see the thought that goes behind laying it all out.
definitely. Definitely.
So when you think about these two audiences that you have, what's your approach like in each of these audiences? Are you taking the same approach to attract these people to you, or is it going to be a completely different approach?
So it's not the same approach in each one, but I think the things that I'm doing within the course of work that I'm doing with you and the things that I'm putting out there, I think they'll naturally lead organically to
Mhm.
both markets. Really, it's about helping leaders to understand that there's always going to be one or two people that you're going to struggle to connect with within your business. It's the way that we work. We as people struggle to connect with everybody sometimes, and so it's really about narrowing down those leaders who I can connect with, who need me to help them connect with other people. Um, and then also just speaking my truth. And I think as people understand my journey and they see the things that I personally struggle with, they'll also understand how that struggle can translate into helping them solve their own.
How does when you're working with people who are where you were, what is your delivery mechanism like there? Is it one-on-one? Is it one-on group? Is it a program? Like, how does this work?
It's most effective one-on-one. So when you think about people who have depression, this is not something that is solved in a one or two or six meetings, right? This is something that is ongoing. First and foremost, I'll tell everybody I'm not a licensed therapist.
Mhm.
If there is any piece of advice that I could offer somebody who has depression and anxiety, it is go see a professional that works with you. So not everybody that you run into, not every time you walk into a psychologist's office or a therapist's office are you going to get that right person. But once you find that right person, leaps and bounds come. I'm not a licensed therapist. My goal is to help you in the professional sense
Mhm.
and to help you kind of get your mind around what are the next right things that I have to do. And that is going to be different for everybody. That on that one-on-one setting for that depressive, that's where that has to be. From the other side of it, from a leadership standpoint, if your goal is to launch from couch right now to entrepreneur, that is something I can put you through a 6-week program and it's done. Like we can work that out and I'll give you the foundation to be able to do that. It's the groundwork that gets you and provides you the anchors to get out of the black hole of depression, as I call it.
Mhm.
That's the stuff that can't necessarily be done in a 6-week progress because it's so individualized and everyone's anchors are going to be so different.
I think what I love about what you do is that you're helping someone who has the depression, but you're very transparent when you say, hey, look, I'm not your therapist. I'm not your counselor. I'm not your professional that's going to really clear this for you. You've got to go find that. But they're not going to, there's a gap in what they do. And the gap in what they do is helping this person either through entrepreneurialism or through the workplace.
Yep.
And so that's the gap that you fill that we just don't see anywhere else in the world. You're
Yeah.
incredibly, you're very unique in this when you say.
Yeah, definitely. I To me, therapy, there's no replacement for therapy. When you have a condition like depression, there's two ways I refer to it. One is the black hole of depression, and it's this just hole that sits with you, and everything gets sucked up in it. When you think about the gravitational pull of a black hole, that's exactly what depression is. It just sucks everything up. So whether it's work, family, spiritual, everything just becomes numb and you shut down, and it makes it so difficult just to get out of bed in the morning. So getting out of bed, going through your normal routines takes every ounce of energy, much less propelling yourself to leadership within those places,
Mhm.
right? And I know so many people who have depression who want to be the best, who want to be top notch, top sales rep, and they just can't get out of their own brain for long enough to set those anchors to climb out of that black hole. On the other side of it, depression is like that mean person, that bully in the bleachers with the megaphone, and you have to get that person to sit down, shut up, take the megaphone away, and give it to the cheerleaders, because if the cheerleaders don't have the megaphone, they're drowned out by the person that does. So those are the two avenues that, like, or the two ways that I compare depression to. And your cheerleaders in your life are your therapist, your doctors, your leadership team. But
You.
you have to be, yeah, me, but you have to be in the right mindset to understand that. And that's where that black hole piece comes in. You have to understand that it distorts everything, right? Just like if you look at a black hole through a telescope, it distorts the light. Every positive thing that somebody says to you when you have depression is distorted. You don't believe it. You can't believe it because you've got loudmouth bully over here with a megaphone. So that's my goal, is to get the megaphone guy to sit down, take it away, give it to the cheerleaders, and then we'll start to set the anchors to pull you out of the black hole.
It's a really great analogy, and I think that would help anybody understand what it is that you're trying to help them with.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your past, even before the depression. What are some of the things in your life that, like, we always believe that where we are now is the sum total of everything that we've achieved? What are
100%.
what are some things that have happened in your life that got you to the point where you know that you will be incredibly successful at this?
Yeah. So I love that you say that. And I'm like, I remember messaging you when I was watching your first mindset video, because I just started crying. So all the depressives out there that are listening to this will completely relate. Everybody tells you you can do anything you set your mind to. We don't believe it. It's not something that comes naturally to us, right? And so my past growing up, um, there was some emotional and mental. I struggle with the word abuse because it was never intended as abusive, right? Nobody ever said things to me to make it bad for me. They wanted me to grow, and they thought that saying things a certain way would help me to grow and grow faster. Um, and it didn't register like that with me, right? So my chemical imbalances took all of those negative things and just made it the sum of who I was. So by the time I hit motherhood, I was lazy, I was dumb, just all of the bad things you could call yourself, right? That's how I felt about myself. And if I'm being completely transparent, there are still times where I struggle with that. I have a leadership coach. I have a mindset coach, because I know I still struggle with that, and I always will, because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, that's what happens with my brain chemistry, right? The reason that I have come to where I am is after going through 7 years of therapy and going from a plan to take my own life
Wow.
to understanding what happiness was, like sitting down in a day and going, this is happiness. This is what this feels like. Like, I've never felt this before. This is crazy. And then one day, like, just the gray lifting. And the people who are depressed right now, they don't understand that right now everything is gray. Like, it's like you're wearing sunglasses all the time. When that lifts and you start to see colors again, it's the most amazing feeling ever. And when I hit that feeling, and then I realized that people were gravitating towards me, right? And I was attracting what I was putting out. We
Mm.
talk about serendipity, right? It it was, you find the purpose. And I knew at some point, and I don't even remember what it really was that hit me. At some point, I said, I am not in this world to accomplish one specific mission. I am here to put as much positivity out in the world as I possibly can during the short amount of time that I'm here. And as soon as I realized that, 5, 6, 7 different professional paths came to me.
Wow.
And I said, this is the avenue that I can go down so that I can work through each of these channels to be able to reach who I need to reach,
Yeah.
to be able to do that. And ultimately, Chris, what I figured out was that in order for me to impact as many people as possible, to bring happiness to as many people as possible, I needed to teach others how to do that. So I needed to teach others how to teach others how to be
Wow.
happy.
That's really
And that's where
profound.
I'm at.
That's really profound. And then here you are.
Yeah.
So you touched upon mindset just a little bit, and I think a lot of people don't realize when they come into the program that we're in that mindset is a huge component of
Yeah.
being able to market yourself. And I think that might have been even a surprise for you coming into it. You thought you were just coming into a marketing program, but indeed it is, there are layers and layers of mindset. You and I have a very similar take on the world, the universe,
Yeah.
history of mindset.
Hmm.
Talked Buddhism, and and we've talked the universe, and we've talked quantum. How does that interweave with what you're doing and how you're marketing yourself? Start with what you're doing, but then how does it interweave with what we're doing together?
So I'm going to clarify because I want to make sure that I'm understanding. So you're asking, how does our thought processes on the universe intertwine? Okay.
Yeah.
So when I came to the realization of why I was here, I've just come to this idea of, and I think you spoke on it. Maybe it was somebody else that spoke on it. But the fundamental part of physics is energy cannot be destroyed or
Yeah, that's
created,
me. Yeah, that's
right?
what we talked about.
So if energy can't be destroyed or created, then I really just need to be able to capitalize on everything around me to build the energy. And then I need to be able to, if my goal and what I feel like my purpose is to put as much light into the world as possible, then I need to be able to capitalize on the energy around me and turn that into positive energy so that I can share that with others. So, I mean, really, that's the foundation of every part of what I do. It's the foundation of how I talk to my kids and how I teach them about the world. It's the foundation of how I lead other people. It's the foundation of my spiritual beliefs.
That's incredible. How does it affect so we talk about marketing through social media. How does it affect how you position yourself on social media?
Yeah. So, I fall into the same traps as everybody else. I get mad at something and I want to vent about it,
Yeah.
right? I get frustrated with the world and the politics and everything else. And sometimes I allow myself to get roped in. And that has been a big energy suck, especially over the last, 8 years, probably, where it's just been, I want to affect change. I just told you, like, my whole goal is to affect change in a big way, very, very big way. And for a while, I thought politics might be the way to do it, right? Like maybe if I get into politics, like maybe I can really affect change. And I've really come to the conclusion that there's just not enough traction there to be able to do anything with it. If I really want to affect change, I need to affect other leaders and future leaders. And so when I go on social media, especially now, I really just try to lift others up. And I really try to make sure that, the old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything at all. Like that's like, I try very, very hard to stick to that. And I really try to ensure that everybody understands that I am a resource. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, if something's bothering you, I'm here. I'm here to help. And I really just try to put that out there, in terms of my posts and what I provide other people.
That's so inspiring to hear. If you think about yourself here, starting this new business and really getting it off the ground, and you've been doing it for just, a short bit of time, but you do have enough traction where you are moving forward. I want two questions. The first question is, what's been the most exhilarating, the highlight for you? And then what has felt like the biggest the biggest low light? So take me to those inverses of each other.
Yeah, so we talk about serendipity and how the universe works, right? The biggest highlight actually has nothing to do with my skill set or what I've done. My biggest highlight was the universe telling me this, I was in the right place and this is what I needed to do. So December, I decided I was going to start a business. I joined this random LinkedIn posting party by our Epic group with Brian Daly, right? And I was like, we'll just check it out. I've never done one of these. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And it was from that moment when I decided I was going to join that posting party, I had nothing to post about. And I said, okay, well, we're just going to launch this business. We'll just figure it out as we go. We're just going to launch this business. And from that moment, I was telling somebody else earlier today, and this is the way that I put my hands. Every single time I talked to someone new, they were put in front of me for a reason. And it was to help grow my business, to put my business together for me in a way that I could understand and that other people could understand. So that's been the most exhilarating thing, is to make that connection in my brain and to say, oh my gosh, I finished a book last year on depression and leadership. I'm in front of a proofreader, a publisher, a marketing guru who's going to help me market my book to millions of people, right? Just one right after the other. And it's so exciting and it's amazing. And it blows my mind, like how it's all worked together. And then from that, probably my lowest, I wouldn't even say it's a low point. It's just, it's my stuck, right? It's where I'm at right now. So I have a lot on my plate, and that I did that by design. I'm very much a person who, if I have to get stuff done, I just do it. I'm not a person where if I can let stuff just kind of sit off in the side, I can do it tomorrow. I'm very much a procrastinator. So I have a master's degree that I'm working on right now, a book that I'm in the process of publishing, my business that I'm in the middle of launching. My boyfriend is launching a business and I'm trying to help him with that. And then I also started a new job. So I've got all of these things. And that's my biggest stuck is really just kind of juggling, not to mention we're still virtually homeschooling kids. I have a puppy and a kitten all in the roundup, a brand new house that I just bought. Well, it's not brand new. It's a house that I just bought in September. So it's balancing. It's making sure that I'm not dropping too much because I'm dropping balls all over the place. But as long as I know where they're at and I can pick them back up, like that's okay with me. So that's where I'm at right now, is just making sure that that I'm able to just balance everything and be okay. And I'm talking with depressive people right now when I say this, and be okay with understanding that if the balls get dropped, it's nothing catastrophic. Nothing is going to go crazy. I'm the one who set these goals for myself. Nobody else did. And it's okay if I don't reach them exactly the moment that I want to reach them.
I think the reality is that when we're trying to grow, things are going to break.
Oh, for sure.
Every single time you want to grow, things are going to break. And then you need to go through the phase where you're fixing the things that broke or throwing away the things that broke that you don't need, that don't serve you.
100%. Yes.
You're in that scale part right now. And once things start to break, you'll be able to kind of take a step back and say, okay, let's fix this. Let's get rid of this.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. There's two main things right now that I will be off my plates in the next 6 months. And that's my book and my degree. Perfect. Once those are off my plates, things will kind of calm down, but those two things will also propel my business.
Do you think you'll feel
that next level?
Do you think you'll feel the need to put more things on your plate when they come off, or are you going to be able?
I don't think so. I think between your program as well as the book itself, I think that my plate's going to be full. Like, I think that it's just going to be, I truly believe that once those two things happen, between everything that I've learned from you and I'm employing right now with you, that it's all just going to fall in place. And I'm just leaving it up right now to the higher powers, to the universe as it is, because there is a reason that all of this happened in the timeline that it did, and that I chose to make these decisions the way that they are. And it's all going to fall into place.
What's the next, so that's like 6 months. What's the next 12 months look like for you? Where are you a year from now?
Um, Bridget's gonna laugh at me when she hears this. Ideally in Greece.
Yeah.
No, my future self right now, originally when I took this new position, I really wanted to get this company set up for success so that if I needed to leave, they could just eliminate my position and be okay with it. My goal was to do that within 6 to 9 months because I really had high hopes for this. I don't know that a 6 to 9 month time frame for this is going to be realistic. There's a lot that needs to be done to really ensure that this new company is successful with what they do. So I'm still going to be with them probably in 12 months. But I think having the client foundational process in place with the clients that I have, the new clients that I'm going to attain, having those in a situation where they feel good about where they're at and I feel good about where I am, to be able to take the step if I should need to or want to. That's where I'm going to be in the next 12 months.
Incredible. You're doing such inspiring work, and you're doing work that's going to change so many lives. And it's work, like we said earlier, that fills a gap. I'm inspired by you, and I think you're doing just such incredible work. So I can't wait. Let me rephrase that. I am eager to see. You don't want to say the word "can."
I know.
I am eager to see your growth over the next year and just watch you absolutely. I want to watch your world open up. I want to watch your business open up. And then I want to see that butterfly effect happen where you help others and then they go on to help others. You're doing great
Yeah.
things.
Awesome.
Stephanie, you're doing amazing things.
My goal is to leave a lasting impact, right? So once I go to wherever it is my energy will take me after this, then that's where, my hope is that I've made an impact for other people. So I appreciate everything you're doing to help me in my business. It's phenomenal. And I really do. I'm grateful.
All I'm doing is putting words together. You're the one that's doing the work. I'm just putting the words in your brain and then you have to go and do it. So
that's humble, but you have a very impressive program. So
that's very, very kind. So let's do this again in 12 months and see what's farther along that you've gotten than you even could imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you.